This man was recently named Industrialist of the Year, Extraordinary Technology Advocate, Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year, and the Corridor Business Person of the Year. He was also running the Department of Business and Economic Development back when we were actually gaining businesses and jobs here in Maryland. My former colleague in the cabinet, Secretary Aris Melissaratos.
No corporation will move to Maryland because we don't get in the game. The first item on a checklist of corporate relocation is right to work. They don't even look at us. The tax issues, the figures don't lie, they're there. However, we must understand the reality and the interdependence of these issues. Not one of them can be looked at by itself. You need to look at the impact on everything else that it might have. And unfortunately, our leaders are not adept enough to understand all of that. And we tend to elect people because of the emphasis they might place on an issue that by itself gets them elected, but then ruins the whole. And I have a personal bias, by the way, on technology, so I think some of the things Maryland has done to start new companies have been right, but by themselves they're not good. And I apologize for the success in the BRAC back in 2005, because most of the jobs that have been created in the last 5 years have been BRAC-related, and it really worsened our situation on dependence on government spending. I do think, however, that government spending, even on the short term with sequestration, will hurt us. In the long term, will help again, because the issues that Maryland is strong in, the technologies we're strong in, must be addressed by this nation. The demographic of the nation says we're going to be spending more money with NIH. We may cut in a year or two. The depletion of our defense arsenal says that, hey, we get out of Afghanistan and we're going to look at our inventories, we got nothing left in the DoD. We got to rebuild everything, we got to be at the forefront of new technologies. So that money will come back. In order to take advantage of that, I think we need to groom and develop visionary leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about vision and leadership that we're going to bring Maryland back on the right path. Leadership that grows beyond politics to statesmanship. Leadership that does not push issues to dress up one's resume for the next office up. I think it's a disaster that we're pushing windmills in the ocean. They're not going to work, they're expensive, and we're going to tax every ratepayer to pay for it. And I think it's a disaster that Heather Missouri can stop fracking in Western Maryland, deny the whole section of the state a right to take advantage of their natural resources. Do we think for a minute that little old Maryland, by being cautionary on fracking, will save the nation? No way. And by the way, given I'm a big believer in technology, technology can make safe fracking possible. We got 21 cabinet departments. That's way, way too many. It causes inefficiencies. Things sit from one desk to the other, and they might spend a year in a given agency. If you cut about half those agencies out, government will be more efficient, it'll be smaller, it'll allow for the right kind of investments. You know, Governor Malley talks about tough choices and investments in the future. Sure, investments in the future, to have a good-looking resume as an environmentalist. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's about vision and leadership and about education. And Larry changed Maryland, and you guys in the public policy arena and you legislators are all helping in that education process. But each one of us has worked very hard to educate each voter, to mentor each elected official, and to push them in the right direction, and to push up in leadership, not the extremists, because that'll cause more and more congestion in the decision-making process, but develop leaders that can achieve consensus, that can articulate the need for coming to the middle and driving the entire nation and the state forward. So thank you for that. I look forward to your questions. And again, Larry, congratulations one more time.
Thank you.
Thank you.